you're not better because you choose to be an entrepreneur. You're just choosing to take some risk. You believe in yourself a certain way, right? And you're not making any excuses. You're choosing to go after something that another person may not feel comfortable going with, right? The next person may not have the knowledge gathered to go after what you're going after as an entrepreneur. And that's where I stand, right? I feel like I reached a point in my life where I have enough knowledge gathered that I can do this on my own now. Now, does that mean I'm going to be able to go out there and make the same amount of money that I was on my 9 to 5 job the first month out, 2 months out, even a year out? Maybe. Never know. Maybe not. Because it's a whole different ball game. Now I'm my own boss. Now I have to focus on my own schedule. I have to focus on my own products. I have to do my inventory. I have to focus on my own customer base. I have to build that interaction up. I have to build the trust up. I have to do these different things. I have to sort out my products. I have to make sure I maintain a relationship with the manufacturer. I got to do all these different type of things that were unaccounted for when I went and clocked in at work, right? I have to manage myself. I don't have a manager. I'm managing myself. Now, one thing I will say that is a pro, like a huge pro, when you're on a 9 to 5, is the free training. Now, I remember having a call with a few fellas, and one of the guys was like, "Yo, I'm new in sales," and he was like, "What did you take away from it? Like, what would you tell somebody about being a salesperson, 100% commission and things like that?" And I was like, "Yo, I would tell them to take all the free trainings that they can, because it's so underrated, but it boosts your product knowledge. It boosts your efficiency to the roof, right? Sky high. And it builds your value up so much. It builds your value up so much when you go to these trainings, when you take yourself serious, when you may have to clock in an hour early, you may have to stay an hour late, you may have to do something that you didn't really want to do, right? But it all goes to building the professional that you will become, the salesperson that you will become, right? And that was something that I did realize. Now, I'm not going to say that I was always clocking in early so I can get some trainings done, or I was always hopping on every training call, because there were so many trainings each and every month. There was so many trainings, right? But I'm not going to say that I was always taking all of them. But what I will say is, when I did take these trainings, I would reflect and I'll be like, "Yo, this is crazy." Like, that they're even giving us access to this type of knowledge, and we're working in their company, because the type of knowledge that they were giving us was enough for us to take and move on and do our own thing. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but I do know that maybe they understand that most people aren't gonna just move on and do their own thing. Most people are gonna stay where they are and be comfortable, right? There were so many career-driven people that they're willing to stay there, but they're also willing to give you a whole bunch of jewels that you can take with you, and you can have your own side business, or you can just take with you and you can build up a niche and grow in that part of the company, right? So there's so many different value points that you can get from being on a job, getting free resources that a lot of people don't realize. And I think the people that normally don't realize this are the people that are not hard workers. They complain too damn much, and they're just lazy. Now, I can't sugarcoat it anyway, because I know I'm not lazy. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't stand lazy people. Can't stand people that just want to take shortcuts, right? Because at the end of the day, you're bringing that energy to yourself. So when you want to take shortcuts, when you want to be lazy, when you want to just do the bare minimum, now the residual of that is going to be low frequency, poor engagement. It's going to be poor quality. It's going to be just BS all around, right? It's just going to be, I don't know much. I'm just giving you sound bites. You actually try and you gain product knowledge and you put forth the effort, you'll see the residual, right? Because then you'll know what to look for. And then you'll know what to say to people. Then you'll know, like, okay, I'm giving them too much. Let me draw back a little bit. Let me hit these certain points of the cell so we can get we can get it done. We can get it taken care of. You're gonna know which way to move. Now, I would recommend, if somebody was to ask me like, hey, what would you recommend, right? I would say, if somebody was to ask me if they should become an entrepreneur, I would say, what type of knowledge do you have? What type of knowledge do you have that's going to carry you with you being an entrepreneur? If they said they don't have any, I would say, no, don't become an entrepreneur. Because you gotta know something. You have to know something, right? Because if you don't know anything and you want to become an entrepreneur, now these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, you never know, 10 years may go by and you're just learning. So we got to be realistic with ourselves. Everybody isn't fit for just one lifestyle, right? It's not a one size fits all. It just isn't, right? Now, I'm grateful that I was able to get these free trainings and I took myself serious, right? Because yeah, there's some people that are still there. So there's some people that I know or that I know of that are still on that sales floor or still in these other companies that I know of, and they're just clocking in every day, just getting by. They don't take advantage of overtime. They don't take advantage of free training. They don't take advantage of any type of knowledge base or, being next to another person that's better than you on that sales floor or better than you in the office or whatever. They just don't. They just go in there to make their 40 hours and they clock out on time every day, and that's it. And they'll give themselves an excuse for why they're not doing well, and they're comfortable with going home to their women and letting them know, or the woman going home to their man, they're comfortable with that and letting them know, hey, it's just rigged. The person that is doing well, I remember once I started getting really good at what I was doing, how it was literally a conspiracy at work. It was literally a conspiracy. Like, I would talk to people and they would say these slick things to me. And they'd be like, oh, well, the only reason why you got sales is because you be like sprinkling on little stuff to the sales. And I'm like, this dude really think I be lying in my sales? Like, I don't be lying. What am I gaining from lying to the customer? And then I remember talking to somebody else and they're like, oh yeah, no, I want to sell more, but I just don't want to like dog people. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dogging people? Why are you incorporating you getting more money with you being dishonest? Like, why? And so that let me know what type of person they were, because I'm like, so they think because you're doing well, you have to be sneaky and conniving and everything, right? Okay, so they must have those features in them already, because I realized that in order for you to do well, gain better results, you have to know more. You have to have more of an output. You have to try more. You have to go to these trainings. You have to be amongst people that are doing better than you, right? You have to reassess your everyday life. That means outside of work, you got to figure out, what am I consuming? Am I trying to get better, like as a person? If you're not, and you're doing the same thing that you were doing before you got the job, then how are you going to gain these results of getting better and having more of an output when you're not even doing anything different on your everyday life, right? Because you have a life outside of work. So what are you doing when you're in the gym? What are you doing when you're in the gym? When you're shooting in the gym, what are you doing? Are you BSing when nobody's looking? All right then. So that's why you're at where you're at. Now, don't try to put it on people that they're making more money because they're conniving, they're cheating, they're stealing, they're lying to people, they're just pushing stuff. I've been accused of that plenty of times. And I'm like, wow, this person, they're low vibrating. Let me stay away from them. And even now, even recently, I've had conversations with people, and I've heard it in their tone that they're hinting towards you scamming to get money. Like, oh yeah, because you doing it like this way, because such as, like, no, it's just I'm not lazy. I study. I know what I'm talking about. So when you have conversations with people, you're convincing, and they trust you. They see the value, so they invest in it. Now, somebody like you, on the other hand, when you think everything's just supposed to be easy or a shortcut, you think you don't have to put in any work and people are just gonna buy from you. And if they don't, then it's a conspiracy, right? No, that's not how it works. So one thing I'll recommend is definitely, before you even jump into the entrepreneur space, is have some type of knowledge. Be on a job site, right, where you're learning something. Go hard in these trainings, right? Raise your hand when you're in these classes and they're asking you, like, hey, do you understand what's going on at the job? Like, do you understand how to sell, how to pitch a product to a customer? Raise your hand and ask them, like, what? You're not losing nothing. You're only gaining. So enough of my rant, right? But I just want to make it clear that just because you're an entrepreneur, right, doesn't mean that you're better than the next person. It doesn't mean that. It just means that you may have a little bit more grit. Hopefully you have the knowledge to hold you there and keep you as an entrepreneur, and then become a business owner, and so on and so forth. Stay tuned. Keep thriving.